Well, you know what? I'm going to just call for a pledge of allegiance. I haven't done
Okay.
that before. Could all please stand and say the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice.
Thank you. We have next General Administration Part 1, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the district. The agency is prohibited by law from discussing issues not on the agenda brought to them at this time. Mr. General Manager, are there any requests to speak at this time?
There are no requests.
All right, we'll go on to 1B, monthly year-to-date revenues and expenses. Mr. General Manager, do you have a report?
Yes, so for fiscal year of 23-24, our total revenue of $3.9 million. And of course, the month of June is not closed out, so we're estimating the month of June. But our total expenditures are approximately $2.3 million, leaves us a net operating surplus of roughly $1.6 million.
Okay. That concludes your report?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any questions among the trustees? No? Okay, with that, do we have to accept this report through a motion, or is it just moving on to the next item?
I think we move on to the next item.
All right, we have consent agenda items 2 through 8. If there are no requests to pull an item, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
All right, trustee Alcala moved and trustee Orozco seconded. Mr. General Manager, can you please call the roll?
Trustee Alcala?
Aye.
Trustee Orozco? Trustee Sapezio Hall?
Aye.
President Guerrero?
Aye, all right. The consent agenda is approved. Next is regular agenda item Part 3, 2024-2025 budget and salaries. Mr. General Manager?
All right, give me a minute while I get to that page. So one of the items, of course, that you recommended was the assessment for the drainage, RD900 drainage and 537 assessment for drainage. The recommendation for the increase was 1.84%. I think the draft budget that presented at the last board meeting showed 2%, so that's been adjusted to the recommended 1.8% estimate. So rough numbers for revenue for the 24-25 year would be, again, roughly $3.9 million. We've shifted some monies around. The way we get paid for the state's FMAP program, which is the Flood Management Assistance Program, they pay it on a yearly basis, not fiscal. So it throws a little hiccup in our accounting system. So I think in the past, we put the full amount in. This year, we cut it in half just to show the difference of how we get reimbursed. Also, what we did this year, there's a line item in here for what we call unrealized gains from investments. And that line item, it's explained in the notes, but I want to bring it out. Basically, it's our stocks and bonds. They gain money. We don't realize that money until we sell them. Typically don't sell them, so we don't realize those gains. So this year we zeroed that out. So last year it looks like we would have had $321 million in gains. I mean, 321,000 in gains. This year we just zeroed it out just to make sure that we're showing the numbers that we would actually use and spend against. So those were the big differences in revenue. So let's see. The one big item that is increased for this year, we now have a full staff. Not only do we have the assistant general manager, we also have 6 folks in the field. So we've got a total of 9 persons, and I'll talk about a couple of our new hires in my general manager update. But we are fully staffed at this point, so it's wonderful.
That's great.
So that's in the labor category, you'll see the admin, I highlighted that because those numbers went up significantly. Though we budgeted for full staff in the years past, the variances are pretty significant. We didn't spend the money because we didn't have the staff. So this year we've got the staff and we'll spend it. The other items, what I did also, as part of the budget committee, we talked about the proposed budget. We also talked about salary increases. We went through call it an informal comp survey with city staff, RD900, American River Flood Control District, just to compare salaries, and unfortunately, RD900's on the low end of those three. So 5% gets the staff a little closer to the other districts, and so I added that column in that shows the 5% increase and also the added benefits of vision, short, long-term disability, life insurance program for staff. So those are the next items that are highlighted in there. So the column that has just proposed budget doesn't have any increase in salary, nor does it have any of those increases in benefits. The next column over has all of those increases. And let's see, I forgot to pull the last page out. Here it is. There was some discussion on bad debt. We put in the budget of about $5,000 for just to cover some of the assessments that aren't paid. The district will prepare a policy on those that aren't paying the assessment and bring it before the board here in the next couple of months. We sent out letters here to those that were not paying or have not paid over the last many years. This year, unfortunately, it's the CHP, which is about more than half of the bad debt. They pay, it just must be in the wrong hands. So we should see a check from them. The telecommunications, the Verizon's, T-Mobile, they're pretty bad at paying, and I think probably they just don't know what they have out in the field from their admin departments. So we're helping them understand where they have towers, and a lot of them are on private land. So when they try to look up an address, it doesn't show up. So they have no idea what they're looking for. So we've helped out a couple of those companies. And then the last one is homeowners associations. They take care of the assessments for all of the grouping, and quite a few of them are well behind budget on that. So again, we set out a letter, tried to explain what it's for, what year it's for. I think partly our old bills were a little confusing. You know, what year am I paying? Is this a fiscal year, calendar year? So we're trying to straighten that up. And so those letters went out certified mail, and so I would expect to either get phone calls or payment, the checks in the mail. So, so anyway, what that leads to, bottom line is our total O&M expenses work out to anywhere from 2.3 to 2.4 million, which leaves us an O&M surplus of 1.5 to 1.6 million that we would put in our treasury, in our savings account. Right now, we have about $12 million in our savings account. That money is typically used for our capital improvement program projects. I will bring the capital improvement budget before the board at our next board meeting. I haven't finalized that yet, so I'll bring, like I said, I'll bring that before the board at the next board meeting. So with that, I'd entertain any questions from the board.
Looking at the last page of the report, in suggesting a recommendation for the 5%, I think you're looking for some direction there. And I'll make a recommendation for the 5% so you can move forward with something.
I second that if it's needed as a motion.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna, recommendation. Yeah, okay.
May I ask a quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
On our notes, note 30 and 31, we've got a 5% COLA.
30 and 31.
That 5% gets us closer to comparable salaries in the area.
That's correct, yes.
It would be nice to see that salary survey, and I know it was informal, but just type a spreadsheet lining that up. Do you foresee annual COLAs moving forward to keep pace?
So I think all of the RD's in a battle to, we keep doing this. So, and of course, we're all on the fiscal year, and we don't typically talk amongst the GM level to discuss salary. We do a little bit because we're all comparing and so on. But what I will do, I got the comp survey study the city does. And unfortunately, I got it a little too late to prepare something, and it was recommended we look at that at closed session. And so I hope to be able to bring that to the board at our next board meeting, so we can actually truly look at those numbers. But the 5% brings our working, our field folks much closer. And what I did too, so the district, like the city, we've got a 9-step process, increases. So it's a 9-step process. What I did is I added, this budget is based on everybody at the top step with a 5%. So the dollars won't be that much, but I put it at that just to, this is kind of our maximum amount that we would spend on salaries, just in case we had to get into negotiations with a staff member that may want to leave due to salary issues. And so.
Yeah, I'm supportive of 5% as well.
Okay. Any other questions, trustees? And so we need to adopt the budget.
Yes.
Accept a motion to approve the budget with the 5% recommendation.
I'll move the budget.
Trustee Sopizio moved and Trustee Orozco seconded. Mr. General Manager, please call the roll.
Trustee Alcala?
Aye.
Trustee Orozco? Trustee Sopizio Hall?
Aye.
President Guerrero?
Aye, all right.
And I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Trustee Orozco.
Thank you.
Although Trustee Alcala moved and I kind of.
Oh, no,
I wanted
it's
to.
okay, whatever.
I know.
We can share. Yeah.
I can't see because the monitors
it's
block
okay.
your mouth,
Okay, that's good.
and I don't have my glasses on.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so that, you're all good? That item is approved?
Yes.
All right, next is General Manager updates.
All right. So the fun part. Like I mentioned, the district is now fully staffed. We hired gentleman Jason Garcia as our maintenance foreman. Jason comes to us with 20 years of mechanic experience. He's worked on the tractors that we use, and I've known Jason for a few years, and I stepped out of the interview to let our staff do the interview and make sure they liked him. So he was our number one choice when we did the interview. So good guy, understands the mechanical side of things, and already doing a tremendous job getting our shop up to date. So Anthony Carrion came in as our maintenance worker too. Anthony's been working in family farmland for quite some time. He just recently graduated from the University of Alabama with a business degree. So if I can get him out of the field, I would like to move him forward and take my position when I retire. So young guy, good worker, and yeah, really happy that we got these two guys. So help out our staff so they're not just going 90 miles an hour. We've also implemented a new payroll system, Paylocity. So we're trying to modernize our systems here and from our audit to follow the recommendations. So Paylocity is an audited firm from a payroll process. They do a whole bunch more, so as we get to know Paylocity and what they can and can't do, it's a big HR program too, that we can use them for future needs. So they've been very, very helpful. Of course, we go through the little hiccups as we're transitioning over, but it's came recommended by several accounting firms and so on. So let's see. Again, approved in our board meeting here. As of July 1st, we needed a workplace violence prevention plan. So that is now in place. We have already started the training online for that. Paylocity actually provided the training for us for the workplace violence prevention. Let's see. Part of operation maintenance, again, still out cutting grass. You know, grass doesn't stop growing here in West Sacramento. So constant communication with the fire department. You know, they're dealing with fires by variety of reasons, and so we make sure we try to help them out and get to those spots that are known problems and keep that going. Let's see.
Let me ask a question really quick.
Yes.
Some of those fires that are set on the levees have been sometimes set by homeless individuals. Are we working with the city programs to?
Yes, yeah, the city, we communicate regularly back and forth with the city staff to help out. Okay. So, yeah, fortunately on the levees, it hasn't been a big problem, luckily. Our biggest problem is next to our office. It's the Highway 50 on-ramp and overcross, and it's great shade, and unfortunately the fires start there, and we've had the fire department out several times to put out fires, and both the city and Caltrans and CHP will evict them, but it's a hot spot because it's shaded and out of the weather, and so as soon as they're evicted, they're back. And one of the capital improvement items may be a stronger fence for our yard. We've had to pull wood pallets off the fence. You know, they put it on the barbed wire to get over into our yard. Fortunately, nothing's been damaged. Before I started, they turn the water on, shower, bathe, but then leave the water running. We've had extension cords run all the way through our yard out to the Caltrans yard so they could charge phones or have power. And so we've had to cap everything. And so it's a chain link fence. It's been cut, so they have easy access. We repair it and it gets cut the next day. We work with the city quite a bit on it. So I think everybody's trying to do their best to keep it under control. The big one, Blacker Canal. We finally got our permits from Fish and Wildlife. Now, the kicker on that one, there is a deadline on our grant funding of June of next year. The project's out to bid right now. We should receive bids by July 10th. And if the bids come in where we hope they will, we'll be coming before the board to ask for an award of that construction project. So we'll see what kind of bids we get. I'm concerned dollars are going to be quite pricey. This project started in 2016, and so project costs have only gone up, but our grant from FEMA has not. So on our side, we'll be paying a lot more for the project. I think right now the engineer's estimate is roughly $3.2 to $3.8 million. I think we have about $1 million left in the grant for that, so the district would be responsible for the additional, so up to 2.8. But because of the duration, they basically have to finish the work this year. That may drive the cost even more. So it appears we've got 3 bidders on the job, so that's good. I was very concerned that here we are in midsummer. Everybody's busy, but it looks like we do have at least three contractors that will bid on this. So So we'll know July 10th whether we move forward or not. So. I've talked about the levees, the Army Corps' inspection over the last couple of board meetings. I've seen a schedule for 2024, and that's the only date is 2024. So I don't know when they want to do their thorough inspection. I'm going through the old inspection, which was done in 2014, to confirm that either things have been cleaned up or not, and we'll try to get things repaired before the Army Corps comes out. One of the big items in that inspection report, there are at least two closure structures, I-80 being one of them. So I-80 is below the floodplain, and then the railroad tracks just on the north side of I-80. Both of those have closure structures, meaning you've got two concrete walls to bring up the height, and then you drop beams in between the wall to prevent water from coming in, like a floodgate. The district has never exercised those closures, meaning we've never attempted to place the logs, the steel beams, concrete beams. And so that's a negative in the Corps' inspection guideline. So I've let OES know that this has not been done and we need to get it done. And big problem, of course, how do we close I-80 to exercise a floodgate? So we're hoping that the Corps and the state will realize that, and a tabletop exercise can be done with I-80. The railroad, of course, we need to get permission from the railroad or find whatever agreement was put in place to allow these flood structures to be installed. So, like I said, the city and OES and I are working on that, figure out how we do that and not stop trains and cause problems. So, hopefully in the next month we'll have some solution on that. FEMA is still ongoing with the damages. As you watch the news, there's more catastrophes, flooding going on in the Midwest, and I have tried to get a hold of our project manager for the last 3 weeks and have gotten zero response, phone calls or emails. So, and then another PM is now off the job, and a fifth PM has started. So it's an ongoing battle, just staffing with that. So. The DWR, Central Valley Flood Protection Board, we're working to repair the 2 slip outs on the Deepwater Ship Channel, so that's still moving forward. Everything looks good. Construction will probably start September timeframe, so it'll be repaired for this coming winter. With the West Safeca program, one of the projects in construction, East Bypass, YOLO Bypass East Levee North project, mouthful. I think Greg's talked about that. Paul Dirksen talked about it. It's ongoing. It's a seepage project. The district will get a new pump station out of that when all's said and done. Whether we wanted one or not, we're going to get a new pump station. So with that, that's the end of my general manager's update. If there's any questions.
Go ahead. Thank you. So congratulations on full staff. That's wonderful. Now it's up to us to retain these employees. Do we have a formal employee appreciation events or things that we do to recognize? I know you're in the process of really rebuilding, and we haven't had any conversation about that. Didn't see it in the budget, and so I'd like to just ask.
We go out to lunch at times usually a couple times during the year. Christmas deal, and unofficially I let them have the rest of the day off. Yeah, just little things like that. Nothing official, but yeah, usually I take them out to lunch for a Christmas lunch, and we do it another time during the year. So those are kind of the unofficial things we do. So, but yeah, no policy on any of that.
So what's your total staff at this point?
There's a total of 9 of us, including
9?
myself. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, take it, there's 10. One person's part-time, so.
Okay. 10. Okay. And you have a July 17th conflict, might be a conflict here.
I did speak with the port, and I believe they are going to cancel their board meeting. So if there's nothing else going on, I think we could still slip in right before a city council meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rick had mentioned that he was not having a July board meeting,
Oh,
so
we're fine then.
unless he changed it today.
Okay. Evening. So we're good now. Okay, with that, I guess we are done with the general manager. Any trustee comments? Motion to, well, we can just adjourn. All right, we are adjourned.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Blake.